It's official. The reunion is on. Gary Payton and D'Anthony Melton are heading back to the Bay. And with that, the Golden State Warriors have injected a massive dose of intensity, defense, and hustle into their roster just in time for the season to take shape. But that's not even the full story. The Warriors didn't just make a couple of nostalgic signings. They completely reshaped the energy around this team in the span of 24 hours. 3 key signings came through yesterday, and then, late in the night, they added Alex Toé on a 2-way deal. And now, heading into Media Day, the atmosphere around this squad feels like it shifted from uncertainty to full-on excitement. 4 weeks now, fans have been trapped in a cycle of speculation. Who's staying? Who's coming? Is the front office actually going to make the moves we've all been waiting for? The noise was getting loud, but the Warriors were clearly working behind the scenes, and now it's all starting to make sense. Al Horford is officially on board. D'Anthony Melton signed. Gary Payton back where he belongs. And with all this movement, there's a clear direction for this team, and it's pointing straight toward contention. Now, let's talk about what this really means for the Warriors moving forward. Starting with Gary Payton. This is a player who has been through it with Golden State. Injuries, setbacks, moments of glory. And yet, he's back once again, ready to do the dirty work. You don't bring Gary Payton onto your team for 30 minutes a night. You bring him in for those 10 to 15 minutes of chaos that change the pace of the game. His defense is still elite in spurts. His ability to crash the offensive boards from the guard spot, still one of the best in the league. And don't forget those sneaky cuts to the rim that end in a lob from Draymond or Steph. That chemistry never went away. Now, is his three-point shot where you want it to be? No, not quite. But let's be honest, the Warriors aren't bringing him back to light it up from deep. They're bringing him back because when he's locked in, he tilts the court with his intensity. He gives this team identity. And with a roster that's been searching for that gritty, defensive-minded spark, Gary might be exactly what this team needed to bring it all together. Then there's D'Anthony Melton. And man, if you watched the beginning of last season, you know how good he can be. There was a stretch, and I'm not exaggerating, where Steph and Melton looked like the best backcourt in the entire league. Melton was everywhere, hitting threes, getting steals, pushing the pace, flying around on defense. He was the kind of player that just made things happen. Whether it was a deflection that led to a Steph pull-up three or a timely corner bucket to stop a run, Melton was at the heart of it. That's why his return is so exciting. Sure, there are questions about his health coming into the season. We don't know exactly where he'll be physically, but the depth on this team gives them the luxury to ease him back in. Whether it's Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, or even Buddy Hield stepping in temporarily, the Warriors have options. And once Melton is fully healthy, he's not just a rotation piece. He's a game changer. He's a significantly better defender than most of the other guards on the roster, and his versatility gives Steve Kerr flexibility in a way that few other players can. Speaking of the roster, let's zoom out for a second and look at how this thing is shaping up. With Horford, Payton, and Melton locked in, and Alex Toé and Will Richard signed as well, Golden State suddenly has real depth. Just a few days ago, people were making jokes about the Warriors not even being able to run a full 5-on-5 scrimmage at practice. Now, the list of contributors runs deep. You've got Steph, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, and Al Horford, likely your core starting group. Then you've got guys like Buddy Hield, Podziemski, Payton, Melton, Kuminga, if he returns, Quentin Post, Goe Santos, Will Richard, and Trace Jackson-Davis all ready to fill out the bench. That's a mix of experience, youth, athleticism, and pure shooting that hasn't been seen in Golden State in a while. But there's still a concern here, and let's not pretend it doesn't exist. This team is still lacking in one key area, the wing. If Jonathan Kuminga doesn't return to the roster, that 3-4 hybrid position suddenly becomes a massive question mark. The Warriors have plenty of guards. They got their bigs. But that in-between, that long, athletic, defensive-minded forward who can guard multiple positions and grab rebounds, that's where things get shaky. Moody has been asked to play the 4 in the past, and while he can hold his own in short bursts, that's not where you want him living all season. Jimmy Butler can guard up, sure, but he's lost a step with age and shouldn't be relied on to play power forward minutes night in and night out. Gary Payton is too small. Buddy Hield is not built for that role. And while Santos has some upside, he's still raw. So where does that leave the Warriors? Well, that's why the next few weeks are going to be so critical. Maybe Kuminga comes back and commits to owning that role. Maybe someone like Santos makes a leap and forces his way into the rotation. But as of now, the wing depth is the one thing standing between this roster and a true top-tier Western Conference contender status. Because otherwise, this is a scary team. Now, let's go back to Melton for a second. Before he went down with injury, this guy was putting up serious numbers. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 made threes in one game. Then 14 points for boards, a couple of threes in the next. And it's not just the stats, it's how he was playing. He was attacking the glass from the two-guard spot like a man possessed. And that's exactly what this Warriors team needs if they're going to compensate for being undersized in other areas. They need their guards to rebound. They need that hustle on the perimeter. And Melton brings it. So when you start imagining this team with Steph, Melton, Jimmy, Draymond, and Horford, that's a lineup with brains, toughness, and real playoff experience. And if Melton can consistently provide that level of production, the Warriors become a real problem for teams like the Lakers, Clippers, and Suns. Are they better than those teams on paper? That's up for debate. But this is where the Warriors always thrive, in proving people wrong, in building a culture around effort and chemistry. And that's exactly what this group looks like it's trying to bring back. Then there's the new energy coming from the bench unit. This might be the most fun group of role players the Warriors have had since their early championship runs. Quinton Post is an interesting piece. We don't know how he fits yet, especially now that Horford is going to lock down that 5 spot. But he's got size and skill. Santos, again, not a star, but one of those guys who just plays winning basketball. He moves without the ball, defends hard, rebounds well, and knocks down open shots. Where does he fit into this rotation? That's the question. Same goes for Will Richard, another guy with a different kind of skill set that doesn't really overlap with anyone else on the roster. And of course, we've seen Steve Kerr be comfortable running 11 or 12-man rotations when the depth allows for it. That's going to be essential this year because the average age of that starting lineup is creeping toward the mid-30s. Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, Horford, even Buddy, they're all veteran guys. The only way to manage that mileage over an 82-game season is with a bench that can give you quality minutes without a drop-off. And that's what this roster looks like it might finally have. The shooting on this team? Ridiculous. This might be the best shooting roster the Warriors have had since the peak dynasty years. Between Steph, Buddy, Moody, Podziemski, Horford, and even Melton when he's hot, this team is going to stretch the floor in every direction. It opens up the offense. It gives Steph even more room to operate. It makes life easier for Draymond as a facilitator, and it allows for creative lineups that can run, defend, and rain threes from everywhere. With Media Day happening right now, all eyes are going to be on this team. The questions are starting to fade, and the excitement is starting to build. This isn't just about a couple of good signings. This is about a team that feels like it's rediscovering its identity. A team that's been through the ups and downs and is now putting together the pieces for another serious run. As we roll into the second wave of this Warriors transformation, you start to realize this isn't just about names on a roster. It's about fit, culture, and a return to what made Golden State so dangerous in the first place. The identity of this team has always been rooted in unselfishness, in movement, in defensive tenacity, and in shooting the lights out of the building. And now, for the first time in a while, that blueprint is visible again, not just in the starting lineup, but throughout the entire rotation. The balance is there. The energy is building. And while there are still things that need to fall into place, you can finally see a clear path forward. Let's go back to Al Horford for a moment. The signing may have seemed out of left field when it was first rumored, but the more you sit with it, the more it makes perfect sense. Horford basketball IQ is off the charts. He's a steadying presence on both ends of the floor. He doesn't need the ball in his hands, but when he has it, he makes the right decision almost every time. Defensively, he still has enough left in the tank to anchor his system. Offensively, he can space the floor, set hard screens, and function as a secondary playmaker. That sounds like the kind of player who was tailor-made for Steve Kerr's system. And when you picture him next to Draymond Green, that pairing starts to look even more lethal. Draymond can roam a bit more on defense, take risks knowing Horford has his back. And on offense, you suddenly have two high IQ bigs who can pass, screen, and shoot. It opens up the playbook. It opens up the floor. And it gives Steph the kind of front-court partners he thrives with. Then there's the leadership aspect. Horford doesn't say much, but when he does, people listen. He's been through every playoff battle imaginable. He's guarded the best. He's hit clutch shots. He's seen the highs and lows of a long NBA career. And on a team that still has championship expectations, adding a presence like that to the locker room is invaluable, especially with younger guys like Podziemski, Moody, and maybe even Santos or Toure looking for veteran mentorship. Horford isn't just here to plug a hole. He's here to help elevate the entire roster. And speaking of the younger guys, the Warriors finally have a bench that doesn't just fill out the roster. It adds real value. This isn't a situation where you're holding your breath every time the starters check out. Instead, you're actually looking forward to seeing what the second unit can do. Moses Moody is still just scratching the surface of his potential. He's strong, poised, and increasingly confident with the ball in his hands. Podziemski might be one of the smartest young guards in the league. He reads the floor like a vet, doesn't force the issue, and knows how to find open shooters. Add in Buddy Hield, one of the purest shooters in the game, and suddenly you have three completely different skill sets that can mix and match based on the situation. Then you've got the big question mark in Jonathan Kuminga. If he comes back and buys in, this whole thing shifts. He fills the one glaring hole on the roster. He's the wing defender. He's the explosive athlete. He's the guy who can guard 1 through 4 and grab 8 boards a game while doing it. But if he's gone, if negotiations fall through or the team decides to pivot, then the Warriors are going to have to get creative. Gue Santos might get more burn. Maybe they look at small ball lineups with Melton or Payton sliding up a position. Maybe they go deeper into the G League pool. But there's no replacing Kuminga's physical gifts. His presence or absence could end up being the swing factor in whether this team makes a real title push or just flirts with one. Still, you can't ignore the buzz around this roster as it stands. The shooting is elite. The defense has a chance to be top 10 again. And the basketball IQ? Through the roof. You got Steph, Draymond, Horford, Jimmy Butler. 4 players who have seen it all, who understand timing, spacing, momentum, and what it takes to win. That matters in close games. That matters in the playoffs. That's where this team can separate itself from the pack. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In what could be the most shocking move of the NBA offseason, whispers have erupted across the United States that Kevin Durant, one of the league's most prolific scorers, is set to sign a 4-year contract with the Golden State Warriors. The news, though unconfirmed, has sent shockwaves through the basketball world, leaving fans, analysts, and even rival players scrambling to process the implications. Durant, a player whose career has been defined by both brilliance and controversy, has been linked to numerous teams over the past few months, but none of the rumors carried the weight or audacity of a potential reunion with the Warriors. Those familiar with the situation suggest that Durant sees this move as a chance to cement his legacy, returning to the team where he won multiple championships and created some of the most unforgettable moments in modern NBA history. Speculation is rife about what this could mean for Golden State's roster dynamics. The Warriors, known for their star-studded lineup featuring Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, would suddenly gain a scoring juggernaut capable of taking over games in ways few players in the league can. Insiders hint that internal discussions have been heated, with management weighing the risks of adding another high-profile player against the potential for yet another championship run. Fans have already taken to social media, with hashtags trending nationwide and debates igniting in forums from coast to coast. Some view Durant's potential move as a masterstroke that could propel Golden State into a dynasty-like dominance once more, while others question the chemistry of a team already accustomed to a particular hierarchy. Analysts are scratching their heads, trying to predict how Durant's return might affect play styles, salary cap considerations, and the delicate balance of egos that defines championship-caliber teams. While nothing has been officially announced, the rumor alone is enough to dominate headlines and fuel endless speculation. The NBA world holds its breath, wondering if one of the league's most formidable talents is about to make one of the boldest moves of his career, rejoining the Warriors and potentially rewriting the narrative of basketball supremacy for years to come. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.